Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
I'm back! Hello, ranters and rantettes. Welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. As always, I am your wonderful host, Mr. Rant, and after a 4-week honeymoon to Europe, I'm back. We're live, and I can't wait to tell you everything that's been going on, and we have so much to talk about. And as this episode describes, we've had a massive blockbuster summer with major films. Some of them fantastic, some were absolutely shit, which I have mentioned, which we need to talk about what we've got on the horizon that's coming up and coming around the corner, because it is only August and we'll get some absolute wild films that are coming out, which I'm really excited for, as you should be, and some of the movies that I think are going to completely bomb, and we need to talk about that. But in the past few weeks, a big shout out to both Nerdier Podcast and I Was Once a Teenage Movie Star Podcast as well for doing the collabs in the past 2 weeks. I really hope that you enjoyed them. They have both been fantastic podcasters to jump onto and absolute rant with, which were great. If you haven't already, please go check out their shows. Go follow them. Jump on their podcast. They are going to be going to places. They're doing fantastic work, and that was a lot of fun going into that. But yes, the reason, as mentioned, the reason why we haven't been live for the last few weeks is I've currently been on my European honeymoon. It was slightly delayed for getting married from last year, which was fantastic. Which you can go check out on Instagram, all the photos we posted. It's fantastic seeing sites like the Colosseum, going around Italy, going around Germany. It was great. Not to mention, on the very last day, there was also a pop-up Wednesday little thing for Netflix, which at first I didn't realize what it meant, because obviously Wednesday was in French. So I'm like, I was like, oh, look, the name's weird. I'm like, oh, because it's in French. Of course, Lee, of course. Which is really cool. Unfortunately, there was no alcohol, which I thought it was, because it was like a beach vibe. So I was like, yes. And I was like, okay, maybe not. Maybe not. But good timing for that to pop up, because right now I am currently watching both Dexter Resurrection, Twisted Metal, and Wednesday Season 2, which I totally forgot, which is terrible of me that Wednesday has been broken up to 2 separate parts, because I got, obviously, from Australia to Paris. We're talking about a 13-hour flight to Dubai and 7 hours on top of that just to get from Dubai to France. So I was like, all right, look, Wednesdays come out, episodes go for an hour, 8 hours, boom, I'll get through the flight like that. I thought that'd be fantastic. And as soon as I opened it, I forgot the fact that, yes, it's been split. So I only got 4 hours, so there was a lot of time on those flights to watch. So I watched Transformers 1, Pirates of the Caribbean for the first one, and slept for the half, most of it, and tried to eat as much of the airplane food as I could. That was actually semi-nice. I just can't believe how quickly 4 weeks goes. To be honest, it has just gone so quick, and here we are. And look, now that we are back, we've got things cooking up for the podcast coming later this year. If time permitted, it all works out, that it's all going to go to plan. But we've got things cooking up, and I can't wait to review it to them when the time is right, what these are going to look like and what the shape is. It's going to be fantastic. But yes, we will be reviewing Wednesday when that's all completely out. We'll be reviewing Twisted Metal when that's all completely out, and Dexter Resurrection, which is all lined up. Now, before I left, we just reviewed Superman, which was the last of the trilogy. Was the second film in the trilogy of films, the massive ones between Jurassic World Rebirth, Superman, and Fantastic Four, which I got to see Fantastic Four in Paris, in Nice, which lucky enough, don't you worry, I double checked 3 times the fact that it was going English when I went and saw it because I was a little bit worried. I'm like, I can't sit through a 2-hour film, look at subtitles, especially when it's it's an American movie. So I double checked. So we saw that. So we will be reviewing the Fantastic Four. That episode is currently in the works at the moment. So I will let you know when that's going to be dropped. But now that the Fantastic Four is over, that has been the 3 major trilogy films this summer blockbuster. So with them gone, we need to look at the horizon of what's coming up for the rest of the year, which we're going to get into. But, ladies and gentlemen, ranters and rantettes, you know what comes up first before we do that, and that is the news. So right off the bat, we've got the fact that Christopher Nolan's The Odysseus has wrapped up filming, getting ready for its release next year, which just a couple of weeks ago, the fact that the IMAX tickets went out and boom, they sold like that. So Christopher Nolan has a good amount of time before the release. So hopefully he's going to get to work and give us this epic. Now, look, there is so much hype for this film that's coming out in July next year. It's got a stacked cast. It's Christopher Nolan. He's going gods and monsters with this. And it's a bit surprising because, with every project that he's done, he's been very grounded with how they go from The Dark Knight, Memento, Inception, Prestige. It still had a grounded element. But the fact that this is going to be a whole mixer bag of both, as I said, gods, monsters, mystic, and we know he's not a big fan of the CGI. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to shape up. Because right now, he is the current director that he tells you, I've got a movie coming out this date with no name. You punch your ticket, you buy it. And I've said that in the past, that you punch your ticket for Christopher Nolan because you know it's going to be epic. It's going to be fantastic. And by the time he retires, I highly doubt he's going to have a massive slump of nothing. And that's it, game over. But it's going to be when he does retire, it's going to be highly debated. His filmography compared to, Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, which we're going to talk about later, but his plethora of his movies are going to be up for debate on the quality and the money, and he's going to have such a fantastic filmography to look back on his films and what he's done differently from the rest of the herd and what it's going to look like. So it's very excited. I can't wait to see this movie. The fact that brand new IMAX is opening right around the corner for me is an absolute win so far. But yes, he's all wrapped. It's less than a year till we get the next Christopher Nolan epic. Now, speaking of epic, now that we do have the brand new Henry Cavill Highlander reboot movie that's currently in the works. And before you ask, there is no release date for this. There's no release date. But it's reported that apparently Dave Bautista is currently in talks to play the villain for the movie, which they've also confirmed that they will be using the Queen soundtrack as well for the movie in some sort of fashion. So Queen fans, you're still going to get that epic soundtrack that they did for the original film. But look, if you've got Henry Cavill going off against Dave Bautista, boom, sign me up. That's going to be fantastic. Between this and the Warhammer TV show that Henry Cavill is working on, he's got a great set list coming up. So I can't wait to see both projects. And of course, he's mentioned in the past he would love to do a Red Dead Redemption TV show, which would be great to see, but I don't think it's going to be happening. But so far, Dave Bautista could be on the cards playing the villain. I'd love to see him be part of this, so that'd be great to see. Also, Percy Jackson's fans, it's confirmed that that's gone in production for season 3. So season 3 is in the works. They're shooting it right now. With season 2, that will be dropping in December this year. The Percy Jackson TV show is based on the books. It's fleshing out more than what the movies could do with their time constraints. Now, the thing is that it's going to be interesting to see how season 2 is going to perform compared to season 1. The fact that this is coming out of the year. So if they're currently shooting season 3 at the moment, we're probably looking about December 2027. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, 2027. So Percy Jackson fans, there's more coming. It's confirmed. It'll be interesting to see if this will fold into season 4. Also, this was a complete utter surprise when I opened my Instagram, and something that I could not have reported myself on, where I could see if someone told me this was going to happen. But apparently, PlayStation has bought Bungie for $3.6 billion, which is insane to think that, and especially with Bungie about to release its brand new game called Marathon, which I'm sorry, from all the trailers I've seen, looks like a giant pile of shit compared to what they've previously done. It's like Halo, Destiny, Marathon. That was, when we got the trailer for Marathon, I remember watching it going, what is this? Why are you giving this? No one wants this. This looks terrible. This looks heavily undercooked. Heavily. Like this is raw. Like this is just you open the packet and slapped it on the pan without turning the pan on. That's how raw that game looks. So I really don't know how it's going to be interesting to see, but it's wild to think about with how PlayStation games are going on Xbox games are going on PlayStation, and now Bungie, which made arguably one of the most iconic Xbox games of all time, and arguably the best trilogy of games, and Bungie just kept working on them, as we've seen for 4, 5, and 6, is now under PlayStation banner. So that's such a twist of fate that I could have never predicted. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to be the next steps with Bungie under the PlayStation banner, especially how Marathon is going to perform. Now, this is something that I feel like Michael Bay cannot get away from at all, and he is the perfect person to come and do this. Apparently, Michael Bay is in early talks to return to the Transformers franchise, which he did 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and he left, and he hasn't directed one since. So, and it's fantastic that we got Transformers 1. It's a darn shame the fact we're not getting a sequel to that. Straight off the bat, it's darn shame, because the animation for that was fantastic. The story was solid. It just sucks the fact that we're not going to get another one. But yes, Michael Bay could be returning to Transformers. There is no word on how or what shape it's going to look like, sequel, reboots, but it's very much in the tone of Hollywood at the moment. Legacy sequels, getting the original crew back, but yes, getting Michael Bay back for a brand new Transformers movie, because there was meant to be that Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover movie, which just after Transformers Rise of the Beast didn't perform as well, so that's kind of sucks to what that got. So that's a darn shame. But look, do you want to see Michael Bay return, and do you want him to return? Or do you want to get a completely different director? There's a part of me that does want him to return. Another part of me is like, now let's get some fresh eyes on this. But, of course, they want to have faith in the franchise for everyone to come back. So they're going to try and get Michael Bay. Whether or not Michael Bay wants to direct a 6th Transformers movie is up on the cards. Now, speaking of franchise with multiple sequels, is that we've got Matt Smith officially on board for the brand new Star Wars film Starfighter, which has got Sean Levy directing and has got Ryan Gosling playing the main character. And seeing that, it's going to be fantastic. He's going to do great in the Star Wars universe. He's a great character. He's a great actor to play a villain, especially the fact he's going to play off from Ryan Gosling. It's such a strange film. When this was announced, I was like, yeah, right. So what about the other 4 projects that you announced before this, and where are they in the current ether of everything at the moment? Where's the rest of that? But cool that we're getting this film, which is coming out in 2 years in May 2027. Great, but what about all the other projects that you've been announcing? But again, hey, I'm happy that we got The Mandalorian coming next year, which is going to be epic. But yeah, Star Wars, Starfighter with Ryan Gosling and Matt Smith is in the lead roles, with Maya Goth as well. On top of that, that film is shaping up to have a stacked cast, a great director. No wonder it's been greenlit with a proper release date, unlike the other projects. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, speaking of other projects that I can't believe, is there's a recent discussion and talks that James Cameron has told that he will be directing Avatar 4 and 5, and he's cracked ideas for 6 and 7, which nobody except for the box office is asking for, because I can honestly tell you that after the last Avatar film, I was like, cool. Just a slight rehash of the first one. And this one looks like it's going to be exactly the same. So it's not water people, it's fire people. And then next it's going to be rock people. It's not going to be fire people. It's going to be wind people. And when it's not going to be wind people, it's going to be electricity. Earth, wind, fire, heart. With your powers combined, there's going to be Avatar sequels forever. The man is going to keep directing these films until he dies, because he's 71. And yes, he's also going to be making another movie, because he feels like Oppenheimer was a cop-out because he didn't show the bombs going off, which, of course, he didn't understand the story on why that wasn't shown, of course. But yes, that is what he's going to be currently working at the moment. So don't you worry, Avatar fans. There's plenty more where that came from, even though you might have not asked for it. But I know the hard thing is the box office is there, and where we are going to be talking about this film a little bit later. But I'm so glad there's going to be more Avatar films. Yay. Now, something I do wish there was more of, which seems to be in complete development hell for one of the greatest video game franchises of all time, one that's right up in the upper echelon, is BioShock. BioShock 4 has been rumored for so long. It is in development. It's not in development. It's currently being worked on, and most recently, it's been apparently that BioShock 4 will be completely reworked after a recent 2K executives meeting. Weren't happy with it and asked them to go back to the drawing board. And it's hard because, like, this game franchise, it should have been like, I don't know, like, it should have been like the Grand Theft Auto franchise. Like, you pay your ticket for this game, it's gonna be fantastic, but we get one certain amount of years. And like, I know it's like, the gap between Grand Theft Auto 4, 5, and now 5 and 6, but at least they're coming and I know we're working. I feel like there was a rumor that BioShock 4 was going to be coming this year, or some kind of heavy announcement. But if this rumor is true, it's complete rework. We're looking so far down the track to nothing at the moment. And it's a shame, because it's the first 3 games are fantastic, which, as I'm talking about it, I am going to check, because it seems so long ago. Yeah. 2013 was when we got BioShock Infinite. God damn. That's just so bad. Just so bad. That's the last time. So it'll be nearly about 12 to 15 years to when we get it. That's just... And also, not to mention, the movie is also up in the air as well. It just seems that everything post BioShock Infinite is just a darn shame. You could make a movie out of this. You could make a franchise out of this. There should be more games of this. I'm like, yes, crack that story. Make sure it's rich and like everything else. But it's just a darn shame that this is in the current state it is in, and what's going to happen next. So, unfortunately, BioShock fans, which I'm right there with you, will just play the waiting game. And we might get it one day. We might. But until then, at least we have the BioShock collection, I guess, until we get... We never know. We might actually get a remastered version again before we get this. Most likely. So, look, that was some of the biggest news that has happened the past week. I also forgot to mention that also Gina also won against Disney. The star from Mandalorian, Deadpool 1. I was just trying to think. And the ex-boxer, MMA fighter, she won against Disney. So it's going to be very interesting where she's going to pop up next. But hey, she beat the mouse. That's good on her. Absolute props. That's not something I was expecting her to do, but she beat the mouse. Scarlett Johansson beat the mouse. So, people can do it. But let's talk about what's next. What's next, and what film should you be excited for about what's coming up? Now, I've picked the ones that I do believe are the most... You need to make sure that they're ready to go in your back pocket, and make sure the fact that you step these up, especially your tickets. coming up. So these are the films coming up in the next 5 months to wrap up the year for 2025. And whether only one of these contenders, I think, will be whether or not they're going to actually beat the top of the film, top of the box office this year. Is only one film I think it's going to come close. Actually, I lie. As I'm saying that, two films. Two films I believe are going to break the box office this year, with notably number one at the moment, American-wise, is $1 billion is Lilo Stitch. Number 3 is Minecraft. Number 4 is Jurassic World Rebirth, which is not deserving. Number 5 is How to Train Your Dragon. Number 6 is Mission Impossible. Number 7 is Superman. Number 8 is F1 movie, which is well deserving. 9 is Captain America. 10 is Fantastic Four. And 11 is Thunderbolts. 12 is Sinners. And I do believe that Fantastic Four should be a lot higher. But yeah, we'll get into that episode about all that. So to kick it off, we've got, don't forget about Black Phone 2. This is a horror movie with Ethan Hawke, which was fantastic, chilling to the bone, and a surprise hit. So we're getting a sequel to that. We've got Mortal Kombat 2 that's coming up that looks fantastic, and CGI, all this that looks absolutely pure madness. And going a little bit more upper scale is Tron Ares, which is the third Tron movie that will be coming, which we've got. Oh my god, I was going to say Michael Douglas. I don't know why I got that. Jeff Bridges returning as a titular character, and Jared Leto, which we've got that coming in October. And what we've also got around the corner is Predator Badlands. This is the same guy that did Prey, so there's very good hype to that. We've got Wicked, For Good, Zootopia, Avatar 3 in December, and one that I think is going to be such a weird little thing on how it's going to look and how it's going to feel, which if you really want to know, it's Anaconda with both Paul Rudd and Jack Black reboot. That's coming in December 25th. So if you want a surprise film to take your family on Christmas Day and you like snakes, that's going to be your pick. But the three major contenders coming up into this is Avatar 3 and is Wicked and is Zootopia. As we can see with Lilo and Stitch, there is so much money behind the kids' movies because, of course, it's kids' movies. And Zootopia was it was a bigger hit than I think everyone imagined it was going to be. I remember seeing it, thinking, oh yeah, I'll watch it, and then I watched it. I was like, this is actually fantastic. And Zootopia feels like it's been one of those sequels that's been long waiting. So we're going to get that. Now, Wicked did a fantastic job last year. Now we're getting this one. So there's money on the table for that to wrap up this story. And, of course, Avatar 3 isn't going to break the $1 billion box office as what Avatar 1 and 2 did. Is it going to make that? Actually, when I say that, I'm trying to actually remember. I don't think number 2 did actually break the box office, which I hope it didn't. Sorry. Didn't break it. The Way of the Water. No, it did break. Yeah, worldwide 2 billion. God damn it, it did too. So, in saying that, that is coming around the corner. So whether that's going to make the most money, because we are going after Avatar in 2025, we got Avatar 4 in 2029, and Avatar 5 in 2031. My God, it's just so much on that. Just goddamn. But out of all three, my pick is Avatar 3. But like as I've mentioned, is that Zootopia is for the kids, Wicked for all those fans, Predator Badlands because of Prey, which is, as mentioned in my previous episode, it is a shame that Prey was just straight to streaming after what we got for this. So that's going to be great. And horror fans are sorry for Black Phone and Tron Ares. Now Tron Ares, having Jared Leto as Jeff Bridges back, and it's going to be seeing the Tron universe going into the real world with Also backed by a 9 Inch Nails soundtrack. I am all for that, to the fucking moon to this. So probably the one that's got my most attention in how it's going to look like is Tron Ares at the moment. So definitely put that as your top pick. Because Avatar, look, again, if Avatar is going to do exactly the same thing as what they did the last one, rinse and repeat. And I know it's probably someone's going to turn around and go, isn't it just like every Marvel movie? I'm like, hey, at least there's different characters and it's not just ripping off Avatar The Last Airbender or ripping off Captain Planet. So at least, in that kind of sense. And not to mention, I'm pretty sure if you change I think Bambi or something like that, if you change a couple of words in Avatar, it turns into Bambi, or it turns into Pocahontas. That's right, Pocahontas it turns into if you change a couple of names. So yeah, it's all changed like that. So going on to that. But no, that's just not okay. Anaconda, you couldn't tell me the fact that Paul Rudd and Jack Black were going to be in an Anaconda movie. I'm curious to see how it's going to look like. Who's going to die out of those two? One of them's going to cop it, but yeah, we know it's going to be. One of them is going to die. So there's still, even though the massive trilogy films have wrapped up, it is done. There is a lot more coming on the horizon, and that's just for the movies at this stage. There's a plethora of TV shows, which I'll get into next week, that's coming on the horizon. I wanted to focus on the movies this week because the summer blockbuster is currently over. So there's a lot still on the table. Whether or not Avatar 3 is going to be crowned king for this year and be able to overtake Lilo and Stitch is up for a debate on that one. I don't think it will. But then again, I do know that the Chinese and Japanese market absolutely love these films and where it gets its biggest gross from. So I'm curious to know how it's going to be the backing of that. Do I think it's going to be a great film? I think it's going to be average as pie. Not saying, I'm just like, don't worry, Avatar 1 is great, should be the highest grossing film of all time. No, which I've said multiple times. I will say it until I'm blue in the face. I didn't even mean to do that, but I'll take that. Didn't mean to do it, but I'll take it good. But yes, that is right. But look, you let me know, which film are you most looking forward to? Which news surprised you this week? And I'm so glad to be back. Glad to see every single one of you, and I can't wait to show you what's on the horizon and for what the TV shows that we're currently talking about. We've got so much. So ranters and rantettes, it's good to be back. And as always, until next time, if it doesn't glitch on me ever again, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.